everybody. I wanted to go ahead and make my first video to put on my Facebook page and kind of get everything rolling. It's actually taken a little time for me to be able to do this because I kind of ran into some problems with videos. I kind of I guess rambled on a little too long, and my videos were so long that Facebook wouldn't let me upload them. So anyways, I kind of had the Facebook page up and going before my videos were really ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that today. I don't know why I chose today. This is just one of those days I said, okay, I'm gonna get back on it and get this done today. So so I guess some of you know, some of my closest friends and family I've already talked to about and told that I was recently told that I was BRCA2 positive, and that means that I have a condition called hereditary breast and ovarian cancer syndrome. So I wanted to make these videos, or have a Facebook page, because I wanted to just kind of put it out there and kind of share it with people, because of course, when I first found out, was searching for information, and I was, getting on YouTube and just kind of researching, other people's experiences, and I didn't find a whole lot. I found some stuff, but there's a lot that you go through, and there's a lot of kind of small things and little pieces of information that become very important over the time of kind of going through the process of accepting that you have this and learning how to deal with it. So I kind of felt like I prayed about it a lot, and I kind of felt like I needed to share for a couple of reasons. For myself, so that I have an outlet, and for other people that might be going through the same thing. They might have questions, or something about my experience might help them. It's not my favorite thing to do, because of course, like everybody else, I'm my own worst critic, and so I don't like the way I sound on video, because I sound really country, and I know that, and I don't like the way I look on video, especially today. That's why I found it so weird that I decided to do this today, because I'm like been running around taking kids to the doctor and everything else, and I have no makeup, and just for some reason decided today was the day. But anyways, I don't want to make this one too long also, because it won't upload either. So the main question I get whenever I talk to people about, some people know what being BRCA2 positive means. It's BRCA2 positive. BRCA is the mutation, and then the 2 is the particular mutation that I have. I'm heterozygous, so that's where the 2 comes in. But and the first question I usually get from people is, well, how did you even know you needed to get tested for that? Well, I can tell you very easily. My dad has 14 brothers and sisters, so he was one of 15 kids. And from all the research that I've been able to do with my family members, and getting dates and cancer types and all of that, 11 of the 15 have had some kind of cancer. Several of the females, several of the sisters, had breast cancer. I have a couple of first cousins on my dad's side that have had breast cancer, and one in particular that had to have a mastectomy because of it. So I have been watched really closely most all of my adult life because of my extensive family history. And so 6 months ago I had a mammogram, because I just turned 40 in December, but I started a long time ago, I guess when I was like 29, having mammograms, just solely based on my family history, because they knew I was at an increased risk. And so 6 months ago they found what they called an asymmetry, and that they were concerned about, and sent me in for a diagnostic mammogram. So that's a little bit more in-depth than just a regular mammogram. And so during that process, they ask you a lot of questions about your family history, and when they received all the information about my family that I had at that time, that placed me into the high-risk category. And they suggested that it was time for me, since I had the high risk of so many people in my family having cancer, and now I had an asymmetry in my breast tissue, it was time for me to go to a breast cancer surgeon, which I did do. I see Dr. Vaughn, Aislinn is her name, Aislinn Vaughn, and she's with SSM. And so I had to get very detailed information once I got to her, because everything with genetic testing, they require you to be very specific about who had what cancer at what age. Was it, you know, what age did they what age were they diagnosed, what age did they die, that, you know, very detailed information. So we went through all that. I have 3 family members. At that time I had 3 family members that had been tested to see if they had the cancer gene. 2 of them tested positive. 1 of them tested negative, which was one of the ones that had breast cancer, which was ironic that it turned out that way. So at the same time, my sister and I both were being tested. And to be completely honest with you, I thought I would be negative. I thought for sure, I just don't know why, but I had no part of me thought that I would be positive. My sister was tested and came back negative, and so I automatically assumed that I would be negative also. And so my breast cancer surgeon told me that I should, you know, go get life insurance if I wanted any, because if I tested positive, it would change those kinds of things. And I didn't worry about any of that stuff, because deep down in my heart, I felt like I would be negative. So when she called me and told me that I was positive, it really took me back a few steps, and it took me a good 3 or 4 days for it to even sink in that she had told me that I was positive and what that would mean. And so that means that my dad is also positive. And so I called him and told him that he was positive. At his age, with his health problems, they're just going to watch him a little more closely, but it doesn't create the same kind of issues that it does for me at my age. So long story short, I have now started the process of dealing with what this all means. So the way they do the test is they actually take your saliva and send it off to a company called Myriad. These are my results right here. And this there's no question about what it says. This patient is at high cancer risk. This patient has hereditary breast and ovarian cancer syndrome. So I'm just at a really high risk of a few different cancers, one of which is breast cancer. That's the main one. Breast cancer, my breast cancer risk at this point is between 65 and 70%. My risk of ovarian cancer is also very high, but I can't remember exactly how high. I had a hysterectomy in 2009. I only have 1 ovary left. I'm going to have that ovary removed. That's really not that big of a deal, because I've already had my babies and had a hysterectomy. So we are going to get that ovary removed, and I'm going to begin screenings for pancreatic cancer. I'm going to go to a GI doctor and begin those screenings. And I'm going to see, it increases your risk for melanoma, both in your eye and your skin. So I already see a doctor for that. I already see a doctor for my skin anyway, so I'm going to continue with that. The main thing that we really are at the point now is we are left with a decision about the breast cancer and what we're going to do. At a 65 to 70% risk at the age of 40, you kind of feel like a time bomb walking around, just waiting for them to tell you, and I'm just not sure I can do that. So I have a couple options, and I'm going to pause this now because I'm afraid I'm getting too long on time, and then I'll start it back on the next one.